These are the most tragic deaths in Family Guy. Brace yourself because things are about to get bloody. At number 21, we have Peter's toy factory boss, Jonathan Weed, who, let me tell you, met a death that's, well, pretty on brand for the Griffins in the episode titled Mr. Saturday Night. Everything seemed like smooth sailing. Until, of course, Peter gets embarrassed at Chris's school's career day. Worried he'll never climb the corporate ladder after that fiasco, Peter invites Mr. Weed over for dinner. You know, to win him over with his legendary charm and snag that promotion.
Mr. Weed, I was wondering if maybe you'd like to come over to my house for dinner Friday night. That wasn't so hard.
Well, what time?
I don't know, 7:38.
Fabulous! What shall I bring?
Dinner starts out okay, but halfway through, Mr. Weed, probably feeling unusually generous, decides to promote Peter to head of the toy division. Brian chooses this moment to choke on his dinner. The food, in an amazing feat of physics, ejects from Brian's mouth and, because the universe loves chaos, lands right in Mr. Weed's mouth. Yeah, you can guess what happens next.
He's dead.
And just when you think it couldn't get worse, there's a sudden knock at the door and it's some random body search check. Peter decides that the best course of action is to try flushing Mr. Weed's body down the toilet. I mean, yeah, who knew toilets can flush bodies with poop? You've probably seen Peter bury dead bodies, maybe even burn one or two, but flushing? Yeah, that's a new feat for Peter. Luckily for Peter, the knock on the door was just death coming to officially claim Mr. Weed's soul, saving Peter from a lot of awkward explanations.
It's just me, Death. I'm here for the body.
Ah, Peter, it's okay. It's just death.
Oh, thank God.
On the bright side, Weed's untimely demise opens up the chance for Peter to try out a ton of other wacky jobs in later seasons.
Oh, sorry, we're out of towels. Let me get that for you, sir.
At number 20, we've got none other than James Woods, who, in true chaotic fashion, ends up getting stabbed in the back during the episode, and then there were fewer. The Griffins receive an invitation to a fancy dinner party at a mansion, and Peter is all excited, thinking this is some kind of big honor. But upon arrival, they realize they're not the only ones who got the exclusive invite. None of them know who's throwing this shindig, until James Woods dramatically reveals himself as the host.
James Woods?
Thank you for joining me at my humble manor.
He has gathered everyone there to apologize for all the horrible things he's done. Apologies from James Woods. You know this is going to go downhill fast. Just when the dinner is about to start, Stephanie gets shot by a hidden gun. Naturally, everyone immediately blames James Woods. I mean, who wouldn't? The guy doesn't exactly have a spotless track record. Cue the chaos. People panic and try to escape the mansion, only to find they're stranded. Eventually, James Woods reappears and everyone is ready to point fingers, but Woods isn't taking the blame.
It's him!
Sorry it took so long. I was going to the bathroom and I just couldn't stop looking at my penis because it's, so fantastic.
You're a monster. Yeah, I heard it's fantastic. You're a monster, James Woods.
As expected, no one is buying it. Suddenly, the lights go out, and when they come back on, James Woods is stabbed with a knife.
Look! He's dead.
It turns out the knife-wielding culprit is none other than Diane Simmons taking sweet revenge because Woods ditched her. Ah, love. It can make you do crazy things. But hey, at least we get some solid drama out of it. At number 19, we've got Vern and Johnny, who, in true Stewie fashion, met their demise courtesy of a couple of well-placed bullets in the episode Saving Private Brian. Vern and Johnny were this vaudevillian duo who had a real knack for cutting into scenes with their cheesy routine.
Fatty's in a little jam, dead girl, Fatty's in a little... Oh, now how the whiz-bang does the rest of it go?
You know the drill. Vern would bumble through some slapstick gag, usually landing face first into something, and Johnny would try to save the day with some piano music. Real classic stuff. Well, classic if you enjoy random interruptions and humor from the early 90s, but guess who wasn't a fan? Mid-performance in typical Stewie fashion, he just decides enough is enough and shoots them both dead. I mean, honestly, can you blame him? Despite Stewie promising they wouldn't be back, they managed to give us some more musical numbers. Apparently, Johnny got himself a one-way ticket to hell, but we don't really need to get into that mess. Everyone's got to answer for their own stuff eventually, right? At number 18, we've got the surprise death of Loretta Brown, who met her unfortunate end while taking a bath in the Cleveland Show episode Gone with the Wind. We all remember Loretta, the woman who cheated on Cleveland with Quagmire. But hey, mistakes happen, right? Her death, though, wasn't exactly peaceful. Peter accidentally drops a brontosaurus skeleton on her house. Naturally, this sends Loretta flying out of the tub and she breaks her neck on the way down. I mean, where did Peter even get a brontosaurus skeleton? To top it all off, Cleveland gets her body delivered straight to him. As if the cheating wasn't bad enough, now he's got to clean up this mess too. But Cleveland organizes a proper funeral and Loretta gets buried at Stoolbend Cemetery. A real gentleman's stuff.
It's too soon! Why, God? Why?
I'll miss you both. All right, close it up.
At number 17, we've got Muriel Goldman, who met a fate almost identical to James Woods in the same episode, and then there were fewer. Muriel, the wife of the ever-anxious local pharmacist Mort Goldman, wasn't exactly the friendliest soul, which, let's be honest, made her a prime candidate for the chopping block. As we've already covered, James Woods invited everyone to his mansion for a dinner party that turned into a full-blown murder mystery. And, well, Muriel wasn't exactly lucky enough to dodge that bullet, or in this case, the knife. After stumbling upon Diane Simmons cleaning her fingerprints off a knife, poor Muriel ends up with that same knife in her back.
It wasn't her fault, poor thing, but she had to die. I stabbed her, and she screamed. I had to leave the knife in her because I couldn't very well hide it on my person with everyone quickly closing in. So I wiped off the fingerprints and ran.
Mort, of course, cried his heart out. Well, sort of. I mean, you gotta pretend, right? After all, she is your wife.
Oh my God, Muriel, my sweet Muriel. She was so young. She was so beautiful. She was so generous. We were married.
At number 16, we've got the evil clone of Stewie, who was killed by Brian after wreaking havoc in the episode The Hand That Rocks the Wheelchair. When Stewie gets offended after Brian implies he's gone soft for not taking down a bully, Stewie decides to up his evil game. I mean, adding more evil to already evil Stewie. But his machine doesn't quite work as planned. Instead of enhancing Stewie's evilness, it spits out an even more evil clone. The evil clone tries to choke Brian, but Stewie is over the moon with his creation. Who wouldn't be? That is, until the clone starts beating the daylight out of both Stewie and Brian, then casually slices a woman in half and steals her car. Now, Brian and Stewie are on a baby hunt to stop this chaos. Brian uses himself as bait. His plan works because the evil Stewie shows up ready to finish him off. But come on, who's really going to take down Brian while our Stewie is around? Stewie and his evil counterpart engage in a fierce battle. Brian gets hold of evil Stewie's gun, but the situation gets complicated. Both Stewies are identical toddlers in diapers, making it impossible to distinguish between them. Brian poses a crucial question that ultimately helps him identify the true Stewie.
All right, there's only one way to settle this. Look at your feet.
Why? They're just feet. What are they doing down there? They're like leg hands.
At number 15, we've got Chad, who met his untimely decapitation while confessing his love for Meg in the episode Yacht Rocky. So, Cleveland books a reservation for a nice boys' trip on a yacht. But, of course, Peter can't go anywhere without dragging the whole family along. While everyone else is wrapped up in their usual shenanigans, Meg is having a predictably boring time. That is, until she meets Chad.
You're not from here, are you?
From the cruise? No, I'm from a town.
You want to mess around on some damp towels next to where the seagulls crap?
They spend some time together and Chad quickly realizes they have so much in common. Naturally, he decides this is the perfect moment to confess his feelings for Meg. But just as the romance starts to bloom, a huge wave hits, capsizing the ship and decapitating Chad with an oar. Because, let's be real, Meg has that kind of luck.
Told me that before. This is the best night of my life.
Tries to introduce her now headless boyfriend to the family. I mean, why not show off her new trophy boyfriend, right? And to top it all off, she accidentally drops his head, leaving Chris to awkwardly scramble to toss it back. demise during an underwater escapade with Stewie and Brian in the episode The Wolf of Wall Street. So, it all starts with Brian crashing his car. Naturally, he's panicking because it's going to cost him a fortune to fix, especially since no insurance. Stewie asks Brian to lend him $100 so he can invest in the stock market and totally make a profit. And a few days later, Stewie casually hands him $2,000.
Contrary, here's 1,000 to fix your car, and here's 1,000 profit.
Whoa, hold on. You made $2,000 in a couple days?
Yep.
Oh my God.
I underestimated this baby. Brian wants in on Stewie's secret formula for making easy money. And just like that, Brian's swimming in profit. Brian's got a simple plan. $1 for himself, $1 for charity. But the moment Stewie throws in the idea of a Ferrari, well, let's just say charity's out the window.
Every dollar I make, $1 goes to me and $1 goes to charity.
I'm gonna rent a Ferrari and cruise the pier. You want in?
Well, cancer's not going anywhere. I'm sorry, Billy. You're $1 short of being able to afford the surgery you need.
I mean, come on. It's Family Guy. What did you expect? Now they're rich, and what do rich people do for fun? Ocean excavation. But Stewie wants to spice things up a bit, so they decide to pants none other than James Cameron, who's already busy exploring the wreck of the Titanic. Of course, things go horribly wrong. Their little prank tears Cameron in half, and he's promptly eaten by sharks. Oh well, guess we can kiss Titanic 2 goodbye. At number 13, we've got Albert, who met his unfortunate end at the hands of Peter and the gang, buried alive outside the Quahog asylum. Peter and the gang being completely unsatisfied with the climax of a horror movie. Naturally, their solution is to write their own. Of course, they don't have any ideas, so they gather at the Drunken Clam for a brainstorming session. As expected, no one can think of anything. That is, until Quagmire suggests they hit up a spooky place to get the creative juices flowing. And just like that, they're off to the Quahog asylum because nothing screams good idea like visiting an abandoned insane asylum. They start making up spooky stories, but predictably they manage to scare themselves half to death. As they try to leave, they bump into a man with a hook for a hand.
Those footsteps are getting closer.
Those aren't footsteps. It's an old building. Just relax.
Everybody run!
And what's Peter's brilliant idea?
Wait a minute. There's 4 of us and 1 of him.
Yeah, let's get him!
The gang beats him to death. Mistakenly believing they had killed him, they dug a hole and buried him there. I mean, what else do you do with a guy you just probably murdered, right?
Wait a minute, is that his car?
Oh crap, it's still alive!
At number 12, we've got Jess Schlotz, who choked to death on nachos while Brian just sat there watching in the episode Married with Cancer. So, Brian marries Jess, not out of love, but because she has terminal cancer.
These are your latest test results, Jess, and they're remarkable.
Meaning what?
Meaning Jess is going to live.
Jess celebrates her new lease on life by gorging on food. Naturally, this new attitude makes her insufferable, and Brian just lets her choke on nachos during one of her binges. I mean, who wants this kind of better half?
Well, I'm sorry it's so disgusting, but that's all they have. Oh, what, you gonna die if you have to eat mild salsa? Come on. Wait, are you... Oh my god, are you choking? Someone...
But of course, during her funeral, Jess comes back to life, which makes Brian cry his heart out. And no, Brian's not crying tears of joy. Honestly, her survival only makes things worse as their already rocky marriage starts circling the drain, culminating in Jess trying to put Brian down. But later, Brian reveals that Jess inexplicably passes away for real this time. And you know what? Based on that toxic relationship, we can't say we're too heartbroken. At number 11, we have Pearl Burton, who met her untimely end courtesy of a truck while belting out a tune in the episode Brian Wallows and Peter Swallows. So, Brian gets slapped with a DUI and sentenced to 100 hours of community service. He's asked to babysit an old lady. Initially, things are as dull as you'd expect, but Brian starts to warm up to Pearl when he discovers her past as a singer.
Oh, I've never heard it sung so beautifully.
Sing Copper Tone! Yeah, Copper Tone! Do Dome's Pill! Sing Gold Bond Medicated Powder! Pepsodent! Chiclets!
The two form an unlikely bond, and Brian convinces the agoraphobic Pearl to step outside her house for the first time in ages. The second she steps out, Pearl is almost immediately flattened by a truck, because, you know, the universe loves irony.
Brian, I've missed so much. I wouldn't be standing here right now if it wasn't for you.
While she's in the hospital, Brian uses a virtual headset to show her a fantasy where they live out their lives together. It's a surprisingly heartwarming relationship that, of course, ends way too soon. Finding true love these days is tough, huh? At number 10, we have Horus, the owner of the Drunken Clam, who met his unfortunate end during a baseball game in the episode Save the Clam. Horus wasn't exactly the most memorable character, but his death was. During a baseball game between the Drunken Clam regulars and Goldman's Pharmacy, Jerome smacks Horus's pitch so hard that it straight up kills him. Naturally, the guys hold a funeral for him, but the eulogies, let's just say there wasn't much to say.
When you lose... There's so much...
The only real sadness in the air was the fact that with Horus gone, the Drunken Clam would be closing its doors. Thankfully, Jerome steps up and buys the bar, saving the day and their favorite watering hole. Who needs emotional closure when you've got cold beer? At number 9, we have Francis Griffin, who met his end in the most Peter way possible in the episode Peter's Two Dads. Francis Griffin, Peter's perpetually cranky, nonsense Irish father, always made it a point to bash Peter for his endless mischief. But when Francis shows up at Meg's birthday party, things go from bad to worse, fast.
Peter, have you been drinking? Well, little. It is a party.
Take off that stupid costume. You look like a damn fool.
Dad, you won't say that when you see my grand unicycle finale.
Peter decides to ride a unicycle at the party. Naturally, he tumbles down the stairs and lands directly on top of his father. I mean, who even rides a unicycle at a birthday party?
All right, this is gonna blow you guys away.
Grandpa! Oh my God! Is he breathing?
Somebody call an ambulance!
Lois, maybe you better call 2 ambulances.
Francis is rushed to the hospital, and before his final farewell, he manages to say a few last words to Peter.
Peter, you're a fat, stinking drunk.
Not exactly heartwarming, but hey, they were something.
Oh my God, he's dead. He can't be dead. There's gotta be something I can do. Maybe I'll bury him in the pet cemetery.
And wouldn't you know it, Francis breaks out of his grave because even in death, he can't catch a break from Peter's shenanigans. You might want to consider a different resting place, Peter.
Okay, I'll bury him in a regular cemetery.
At number 8, we have new Brian, who made the fatal mistake of crossing Stewie in the episode The Man with Two Brians. So Peter gets the bright idea. Since Brian is getting old, why not bring in a new, young, and more energetic dog as a replacement? Of course, no one tells Brian he's being replaced. New Brian quickly charms the family, waking Peter and Lois with soothing flute music and even giving Meg a deodorant because apparently that's what she needed.
Think fast!
Wow, deodorant! Are you sure I'm old enough?
Oh, I think so. I'm gonna make you a little less gross every day.
At first, new Brian even manages to win over the old Brian with a bag of weed. But then Stewie breaks it to him that new Brian is here to take his place. Desperate to regain his spot, Brian tries everything to win back the family, but it's no use. Peter seals the deal by inviting Brian out for a hunting trip, which has all the subtlety of a mafia hit.
Hey, Brian, I thought maybe we could spend the afternoon together.
Really? That'd be great.
Awesome. Because I got this new gun.
Here we go.
And I thought we could go deep in the woods where no one would ever think to look.
Oh, boy.
And just shoot it.
Awkward.
You know, like so far in that no one can hear gunfire.
A little on the nose.
Or screaming.
Sensing where this is going, Brian packs his bags and leaves. Things seem to be going great for new Brian until he makes the colossal mistake of telling Stewie that he humped his beloved teddy bear.
Well, Rupert seems to like my humping.
What did you say?
Rupert. Humped him for 2 hours yesterday. He just laid there and took it.
Did he?
Yeah, and now every time you're sleeping with him, he's gonna be thinking of me.
You don't mess with Stewie's stuff, especially not his bear. The next thing we know, Stewie is dragging new Brian's bloody body to the trash bin. Now that we're on the topic of Rupert, let's slide into number 7, where Brian drunkenly rips Rupert apart in the episode Dog Bites Bear. Unfortunately, Brian's got a bit of a jealousy problem when it comes to the time Stewie spends with Rupert. So, under the delightful influence of alcohol, Brian decides the best course of action is to tear the poor bear limb from limb. Because nothing says healthy friendship like obliterating someone's cherished stuffed animal.
No! Rupert! Rupert!
Naturally, Stewie is devastated, and as only Stewie can, he drags Brian along on a dramatic trek up a mountain in Vermont to scatter Rupert's ashes. On the way back home, Brian tries to make amends by buying Stewie a new bear, but let's be honest, it's not the same. Meanwhile, the original Rupert is looking down from the afterlife.
It's been a long way, Choo-choo, my friend. Oh, my
At number 6, we have Diane Simmons. Ah yes, the real mastermind behind the whole bloody affair, Diane Simmons. It all starts with her thirst for revenge against James Woods, who dumped her for a younger woman. What begins as payback quickly spirals into a full-blown murder spree, with Diane bumping off guests left and right to cover her tracks. Just when she's ready to take out Lois and tie up her final loose end, Stewie takes her out from afar. After all, if anyone's going to kill Lois, it's going to be Stewie. He's made that pretty clear.
If anybody's gonna take that bitch down, it's gonna be me.
Diane's dramatic fall from grace was sad, but let's face it, she almost got away with it. Almost. At number 5, we have Stewie's half-brother, Bertram, who went out in a cinematic-style death in the episode The Big Bang Theory. Stewie's got more enemies than he has diapers, and Bertram ranks pretty high on that list. When Bertram hatches a plan to erase Stewie from existence by killing none other than his ancestor, Leonardo da Vinci, Stewie steps in to save the day. Because if anyone's going to rule the world, it's going to be Stewie, not some knockoff half-brother.
Stewie! That's my name, don't wear it out.
Turns out, Bertram's almost as sharp as Stewie, and the two engage in an epic aerial battle using Da Vinci's flying machines. It's pretty much every action movie you've ever seen, except with two babies at the helm. But in true Stewie fashion, he ends the fight in style. An arrow to the head, and boom, Bertram's out of the picture for good.
Hey, Bertram, what's your favorite kind of bottled water?
Huh?
Mine's Arrowhead.
Just like that, Stewie wraps things up with flair, proving once again that no one messes with him and gets away with it. At number 4, we have another one of Peter's bosses, Angela, who, according to Peter, died while swimming. Angela, Peter's long-suffering supervisor at the brewery, was never really impressed with his work, but she did have a bit of a soft spot for him.
Oh, no. I dropped my pencil.
Oh, I'll get it for you.
Yeah, this is gonna work out just fine.
Angela's character met an unfortunate end after the real-life passing of her voice actress, the legendary Carrie Fisher. In true Peter fashion, he gives a eulogy that starts off by quoting various sitcom theme songs before stumbling his way into a surprisingly heartfelt tribute that subtly nods to Carrie Fisher herself.
Angela pretty much epitomized class. Who could turn the world on with her smile? Angela. Who could take a nothing day and suddenly make it all seem worthwhile? Angela. So no one told you life was gonna be this way? Angela.
It's actually kind of touching, or at least it would be if Peter hadn't accidentally delivered the speech at the wrong funeral.
I may have lost a boss, but heaven has gained a princess. And I am at the wrong funeral.
At number 3, we have Brian Griffin, who met his tragic end in the episode Life of Brian. It all starts when Stewie decides to destroy his time machine after a near-death experience. With no more time travel shenanigans on the horizon, Stewie and Brian do what any toddler and his talking dog would do.
Okay, Brian, I'm just putting this out there, but I'm a baby, and only dicks don't let babies win.
But things take a dark turn when Brian is hit by a car. In true Brian fashion, he manages to squeeze in one last emotional goodbye to the Griffin family before, well, passing away.
Brian, no!
I can't believe it. You really...
Damn it, Brian, you can't die. We were gonna do so many things together. We were gonna become windsurfers. I was gonna be a little better than you, but we were both gonna be good.
For a few episodes, Brian is genuinely gone, leaving fans heartbroken. But Stewie eventually figures out a way to bring him back because, come on, this is Family Guy. No one stays dead for too long.
Brian, look out! What the hell?
Seriously, who knew a talking dog could hit us right in the feels like that? At number 2, we have the legendary Adam West, who sadly passed away in real life, leading to the ultimate end of his character on the show in the episode titled Adam West High. For years, Adam West played an exaggerated, wackier version of himself on Family Guy, and let's be honest, he was a staple of the show's absurd charm. After the real-life passing of his voice actor on June 9th, 2017, the show gave Mayor Adam West a heartfelt send-off. In Season 17's Two Heads Are Worse Than One, Mayor West's character was written out, leaving a wild void that was eventually filled by his cousin, Mayor Wild West.
Mayor West?
To honor the beloved mayor, the characters pay tribute in various ways, from Peter's video montage to renaming Quahog's high school in his honor in the episode Adam West High. It's a touching nod to a character and actor who, let's face it, will never be replaced. And the final death is none other than Jeffrey Felman, who met his brutal end at the hands of Quagmire in the episode Screams of Silence, the story of Brenda Q.
Well, listen, how about I make us all some dinner, huh?
Come here! You fat, ugly bitch! If today wasn't your birthday...
Jeff, please, you're being...
What? What am I being? Crazy? Unemployed? Why don't you call the cops like you did on Christmas?
No, I didn't call them. They were called.
Oh, now you're calling me a liar in front of this cat?
After watching his sister Brenda suffer at the hands of her abusive boyfriend, Quagmire hatches a plan with Peter and Joe, inviting Jeff on a camping trip in the woods to, let's just say, take care of business.
Yeah, and they're gonna send all the inmates to Congress.
I don't get that one!
Turns out Jeffrey was one step ahead. He knocks out Peter and Joe in the forest and holds Quagmire hostage, ready to end things his way.
All the way up!
Oh, my shirt's a little too short.
That's okay. You can keep him the way you had him so it covers your stomach.
Thank you. You know, if this Jeff was around more, we wouldn't have tried to kill you.
See you later, schmucks!
But just when it looks like Quagmire's number is up, he somehow survives Jeffrey's attempt to choke him and turns the tables in the most Quagmire way possible by crushing Jeffrey with a car.
What the hell? I killed you!
I choke myself every day, you bastard.
Let's be real, Jeffrey had it coming. And yes, you might say human lives matter, but deep down, we all know this death deserved to top the list. There's no sympathy for domestic abusers here.
Oh, Glenn, there you are. Jeff didn't come home last night and he hasn't called.
Well, actually, about that, Brenda, he must have left early this morning.
Yeah, we found this note he left you.
Dear Brenda, I have decided to leave you. I realize that you are too good for me, and you and our unborn child would be better off without me in the picture. Love, Jeff.
Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Family Guy content. And if you're up for more laughs, check out Family Guy. Every time they went too far, it's on your screen right now. You're going to love it.